Hello crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this little box. I say little, it's actually 5¼ inches by 2 3/4 inches by 3/4 of an inch, so it's quite a reasonable size really. I made these as my thank you gift for my April 2018 customers. I do like to try and be practical, and inside this box I put one of these little packets of handy wipes. I don't know how you feel, but when I'm out and about I get so frustrated if I have to pop to the loo and I find I can't wash my hands, so I like to keep one of those in my bag handy. So I thought, there we go, that would make a nice little gift for my customers. So I'm going to show you how I've made this. This one was actually made using springtime foils, which was one of the free gifts in celebration this year. I used some of the Just Colour It, was it? Or something? Oh, Just Add Colour. Some of them were made in that, and some of them were made in Sweet Soiree, Calypso Coral and Marina Mist. So I used a very wide selection of cardstock because those are such a really good quality. Well, it's like cardstock rather than designer series paper. So the card pieces you're going to need: one piece which measures 7½ inches by 7½ inches, and this is actually from Bundle of Love. It came in either Blushing Bride or Soft Sky, and on the opposite side they were all gold and vanilla. So I'm going to do the gold side. You also need a scrap for you there. So this measures 7½ inches by 7½ inches, which is 18.9 by 18.9 centimetres. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to score this. So I'll get my scoreboard up. Right, there we go. If you have a directional pattern, this is the time to make sure you get it in the right direction. Okay, so this is going to be the top of my box. So you need to score at, I will give you the inches first, and then I will give you the centimetres. Okay, so inches you need to score at 3/4 inch, 3/4 of an inch, 3½ inches, 4¼ inches and 7 inches. In metric that's 1.9, 8.8, 10.7 and 17.7. Okay, so 3/4 of an inch, 3½ inches, 4¼ inches and 7 inches. Now you need to turn this anti-clockwise like that. So this is going to still be the top of my pattern. Obviously for this pattern it doesn't matter which end I use, but if you've got a pattern like trees or balloons or something, people, it matters. So if you just turn it anti-clockwise, and then we can score again. Right, in inches it's 3/4 of an inch, 1½ inches and 6 3/4 inches, which in metric is 1.9, 3.8 and 17.1. Okay, so that's 3/4 of an inch, 1½ inches and 6 3/4 inches. Okay, so that's all the scoring we need to do. Now cutting, not those. Right, cutting. Up here I've got the two score lines. Oh, that's showing up really nicely, isn't it? Okay, so the double score line up there and one down here. And then on the side here, maybe if I tilt it that way you can see it. Oh, no such luck. Okay, on this side it's 1/2 inch, and down that side it's 3/4 inch. So you should have the 1/2 inch this side. Then what we're going to do is we are going to cut this corner off and those two little oblong bits. So when you cut this off, on this one, cut to the left hand side of the score line, and on this one cut to the right hand side of the score line. So effectively what you're doing when you cut that off, you're cutting the score line off with it as well. Okay, straight line up, straight line to meet the corner. So I've got the score dip in there on both sides. Now turn it around 180 degrees like that. So you've still got the score line coming up here, your 1/2 inch score line. And we're going to cut this piece off. Again, cut straight across and do it to the left of that score line. And then on this one, cut so that you are cutting to the right hand side of the score line. I'm a bit nervous about this because the last video I started talking about east and west and got it very wrong. So let's do this one. Okay, so that one off. Now this one, we're going to cut down past the first score line down to the second score line. On that one, and on that one. Now on this one, you want to cut on the left hand side of the score line, just down to the second score line, and then on this one, score to the right hand side of, cut to the right hand side of the score line. And then on this one, cut on the left hand side of the score line. Okay, now on this one here and this one, the two narrow bits, we're going to cut the top square off. So cut on the right hand side, this side of the score line, so the score line stays on that bit. And exactly the same for this one here. Okay, so I've got the score line on there. Now we're going to do a little miter on this side here. That's it. Tiny miter this side. Just down as far as the score line there. A miter on this side and a miter on this side. Just on that little flap. I think that fell off by itself, didn't it, that one? And a little miter on this side. Okay, so now if you fold those two back out of the way, you're now going to cut this piece off. And it's the piece that's nearest the 3/4 inch. It's not this one where you've cut that bit and that bit. Okay, not this side, it's this one. It's the one that's got a flap either side of it. So you're going to cut straight across there. And I am cutting on the right hand side of the score line. because that's going to be the front of our box. This is going to come around and tuck into there. So next we're going to find where we're going to do a little finger tab with our 1/2 inch circle punch. And the way I do this is, not that, let's use a pen. That's a nice colour. Right, so on here, now that should be 11 circles. So, squares rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right, okay. Because that is against that line, that one is against that line. So if I go to 5.5, halfway through, if I've got 5 either side, I go in the middle one and I'm halfway, 5.5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's this one here. It's halfway, and I'm just going to do a little pen mark there. I'm going to come in with my 1/2 inch circle punch, put that little pen mark in the middle, and then punch that out. So that's my little finger. And then for these bits here, I am going to use my new trio corner punch. And I'm going to do the 2 corners here. Okay, so pop that in. This is amazingly easy to use, and it does a really gorgeous rounded corner there. It's quite a bit bigger than the rounded corner that we used to get with the Project Life punch. There we go. This is a lot more curved. The corner rounder was a bit of a sharp curve. Right, so there's that. Well, I was going to use this, wasn't I, to see if I could show you these other corners. Okay, so this is my scrap. If I put that one in there. You see that? Pretty, isn't it? And this one, if you put your paper in, your cardstock in that way straight, it punches a little hole there. So if you wanted to put ribbon through something, that's easy if you see my finger underneath, isn't it? Okay, so that's a great little punch, that one. Right, so that was the top done, and we're going to do the bottom now. And basically we're going to do the same. We're going to cut up these 3 score lines up as far as this score line, and we're going to do straight lines, and I'm going to tell you whether it's on the right hand side of the score line or the left hand side. So the first one, we are on the right hand side of the score line. The next one, we're on the left hand side of the score line. And this one, we're on the right hand side. Now we're not cutting any of these bits off. We are going to go in and do a little miter on the side of the flap. And we're going to miter both sides of this flap as well. Didn't do that very well. Rather than just pull it off and run the risk of tearing my cardstock. Have you done far enough? Let's double check that one, otherwise I'm going to have trouble later. That's better. Much, much better. And I am going to do a very, very fine miter on this one as well. Okay, so that should be all the cutting done. Just get rid of the rest of the debris. So what we are going to do now is we're going to put some red sticky strip. We don't sell it, but I do prefer using this. So what I'm going to do first is where we've got this gap here with the finger notch, we're going to come to here, and this bit in the middle here is where we're going to put tape. Okay, so top and bottom you should have a little flap, and that side is the 3/4 of an inch side. So I'm just going to put a piece of red sticky strip on the inside of the box. Oops. And I am just going up to the score line at the start of the flap, and the score line there at the start of that flap. Okay, now I'm going to put a piece on this one here in between the two flaps. God, let's move that. Oh, no, 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 no. Move that one out, it's getting in the way. In fact, you're going to get in the way now, aren't you? There we go. Right, I'll have to curl that little bit back, it's gone over the edge. Right, now with these ones, if you bring these down and you want to put some red sticky strip on these ones, okay, so effectively that's on the outside of the box. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to fold on all my score lines. Okay, so there's that one. And I don't use a bone folder on this. My finger is quite enough. I don't want to take the risk of any of this cracking. Okay, so that's all my folds done. Right, don't forget the trick I told you about the glass if you're using red sticky strip. So just make sure that's all adhered down nicely. And then take that one off. Pop that in your glass. Now what should happen is, if you've done the cutting correctly, you should be able to fold that over like that, and that should be able to fold back on itself. Oh. So let me see, is that going to work? I can't really see my crease line here. I think that's okay. Now if this is done correctly, you should find that you can fold your box like that and like that without any of it buckling. Okay, so that's okay. Let's just give that a rub down to make sure that's adhered nicely. So what I'll do first is I close that end of the box up so that when I'm sticking this down, it's giving it something to form a good shape. Okay, so I want that one with the red sticky strip up there. So I'm going to take these two little bits off. Oh, come on. keeping that nice and firm on the table. Those two go in. Sometimes I find this is a bit tight across there. Very slightly. But if you find that that comes like that and you don't think that that's going to fit, just give it an extra little push to make it go down, and you'll find it will fit. Right, now I need to push this bit of sticky back over because it came over the edge. So just pop that in there first and just use my piercing tool to get that stick down again. There we go. Right, so that's in there. Make sure it's nice and firm on your table, and then just bring it over nice and straight. Okay, so you've got lovely straight corners there, and you've done it well. It'll stand up. So there we go. What I'm going to do, just use my bone folder and make sure those flaps are down properly. Don't need that anymore. Oops, sorry. Don't often do that. Right, now I'm taking a packet of the handy wipes, pushing that in, and then the top does tend to stick out a bit, so I just tuck that over towards the back, put my flaps down, bring that down, and then my box is closed. Okay? Right, to finish off, I'm going to wrap some very vanilla baker's twine round here. But before I do, I just want to see, I don't know if I can get this in camera or not. I started a new way of storing my baker's twine the other day, and I thought I'd try and show it to you. The drawer is bigger than what you can see in the camera, I think, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so this is a drawer that I've taken out. There's a lot of shine there because they're in plastic bags. But what I've got is each roll, there's two in a bag all the way along here, so I can see at a glance what ones there are. These are the ones that are that come on the flat packs like that, and I've got them so that I can see the colours at the end here. Okay, so I just need to do a little flick through there to find out if I want to use any of those. But the other thing that I do, I don't know if this is one of my new ones, it isn't. Let me find a new one here. I think that one is, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. This is the new one that I got the other day, and this is where I got the idea. Because I never know exactly what colours these are, I've started writing it on the end there. Okay, so I know that's Dapper Denim. Yeah, I know it's retiring, but I just want to have a good selection of colours. Because all of Stampin' Up colours are coordinated, sometimes we find that we can mix and match. Just really very, very versatile. But that's how you can label these, so that you always know what colour you're dealing with. Obviously, very vanilla's easy. But a lot of those other colours, I don't know what they are. Right, how much do I need? I want this to wrap round 3 times, so leave that bit there. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's about right. And by keeping them in the plastic bags, it means that I'm not fighting a drawer full of loose ends that have come undone. In fact, I wonder if I could do that with all my ribbons, put them in little bags, because they drive me crazy. Thing is, in my drawers, I'm not sure that I'd have enough room, because the bags obviously do pad it out a bit. Right, now what I'm going to do is, I've got some of these, which are, what they're called, Petal Passion embellishments. So what I do with this, I put one on, I haven't been using ink. Red. Oh yes, I did. I know what I've done. I did a template. Right, okay. So to try and get that to go through there, that is not going to be easy. So what I use is one of these little needle threaders. It's just very, very fine wire here. So you just push that rather through the hole. You squeeze it together a bit, and then the baker's twine goes through easy. There we go. And then you just put it through. Couldn't be easier, could it? So, oh no, don't do it that way. Let's try again. I always tie the first knot and then I do this. So let's try that one again. Okay. So I put this through whatever, put the baker's twine through and then put it through like that. Then once I've done that, I tie another knot, so it's going to hold the embellishment in place. Like that. And I tie a small bow. This is ever so soft, this baker's twine. Very, very soft. Right, there we go. So that's all right. And just trim off some of the ends. Won't do it too short. And because I've got this around here 3 times, I can spread it out a bit. Okay, can I... Oh, I see, yes. It's got a cross at the back there. Wonder if I can get that round to the front. That's it. There we go. Just looks a bit nicer, doesn't it? Nice little bow there with a embellishment. So all I need now is the 4U on there, and I need my big shot, and I need the 4U, which is from the mini treat bag Thinlit dies. Okay, it's that one that I'm going to be using. Unfortunately, this is retiring, which is a real shame because I have used 4U loads of times, and also I've used that one loads of times as well, because that's the bit that I used to use for the antennae on my butterflies. I've used these these two quite a bit, not that one so much. But I'm really sorry to see this go. There's also another 2 big dies that actually die cut a little treat bag. In fact, I've got one here, let me show you. There we go. It die cuts this little bag. This is another one that I'd made for my customers. So again, oops, I keep knocking that, don't I? That's going to fall off in a minute. Right, let me get on with this without too much more talking. Yes, so that if you want that die with the treat thing, you'll have to move quickly because it's retiring on the 31st of November. 31st of May, rather. Trying to talk and concentrate at the same time. I was looking for something. Doesn't work. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank this through twice, backwards and forwards. And then I am going to just move it, change the position and do it again, because I normally have to use my paper piercer to push this out, and I don't want to have to push too hard so that I leave like pinpricks in there. So if I do it a couple of times like that, backwards and forwards, it normally comes out quite easily. Okay, so that bit comes out, no problems. And paper piercer. And if you do have to do this, when you put your paper piercer in, do it sideways so that you're only actually pressing down. You're not actually leaving marks in there. There we go. That's it, so that's that. Put that over there. Get rid of that. Where's my box? And for you. And my silicone mat and Tombow. Just put some all over. Don't forget, if you're doing a job like this and you find that you've squeezed out too much Tombow, and when you put it down it's going to all ooze out of the side, just blot this on a piece of scrap paper so that the worst of it goes onto that. There we go. So move that out of the way. So there we go. What do you think? Sweet, isn't it? It's a shame that these were all in silver, because it would have been nice to have it all in gold. But I'm not unduly worried about that. It still looks very sweet. And this is one of my favourite designs in this group of papers. Really lovely. Let's give that a little bit of a hold down. It's not sticking too well. That's better. So there we go. I hope you liked today's project. And as you can see, it does work with all sorts of different cardstocks. How many can I get in screen? Can I get another one? I think so. Yeah, here we go. Many thanks for joining me today. If you'd like to purchase any of these products, not that, because that was a celebration item. Otherwise, everything else is still current, although the embellishments and these cardstocks and the dies for you, they're all retiring on the 31st of May. So if you want them, please move quickly. The link for my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop is in the box below. Also in the box below, I'll put all the products that I've used and the measurements and all the score lines where you need to do those. I have worked out a couple of, I'm not sure that I'll do both of them, but a couple of templates showing where the tape goes. What I'll do is, I've now worked out that if I scan these and save them as JPEGs, I can put them on my website. So I'll put them in the photo gallery, and then what you need to do is click on the picture and, what was it, copy and paste, I think, and then when you pasted it, no, if you clicked on it, it opened up as a full size, so you could just print it from that, I think. I know it was easy anyway. So I'll put those on there. If you want them, you can just download them for yourselves. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to be notified each time I upload a new one, which is Sundays and Wednesdays, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. And I think that's about it. Many thanks for joining me. Oh, if you do shop with me during May 2008, please quote this HOSTESS code, and that means you'll be part of the HOSTESS club, and at the end of the month you'll receive a share of the HOSTESS gifts. So there we go, something to look forward to. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.